Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back once again to our Real Talk Show, live with me, your host for today, Yusuf Akoudi, from the Bradford studio. MashaAllah, once again we talk about those issues that concern you the most. And today it's the generation which sometimes, often, we neglect and not talk about or not address the issues. Hence me calling in one of our well-known presenters and colleagues from the Generation Y team, the Generation U team, Haris and his colleague Muhiba Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Haris, how are you?
Walaikum salam, alhamdulillah, doing well.
How's studies going?
Alhamdulillah, they're going very well, yeah. This second year of A-levels is intense. You need to make sure that you're working hard if you want to keep up with your work.
Okay, and Muhiba Ahmed, you've joined Haris today and will be joined with other colleagues of yours. How are you? Thank you for coming today.
Fine, thank you, alhamdulillah.
Okay, mashallah. And how's your studies going?
Mashallah, pretty well so far, yeah.
Okay, just a bit of background in terms of yourselves. You're both studying, your students. Haris, you first, and then we'll talk about some of the issues that affect the youth and what kind of things in terms of challenges, pluses and minuses you're facing in terms of your daily lives. So Haris, tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, me and Muhiba both, we go to the same school. We did similar subjects at GCSE. Right now we've got a few subjects together, but the routes that we want to go down are quite different. And obviously that depends on our interests. We've got very different interests, very different strengths and weaknesses that we'll go into later on. We've got different friend groups in school, so we've each got different insight that we can provide younger students with. Yeah, I guess and it's our strengths and weaknesses that make us who we are.
And you're doing your A-levels right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And Muhiba, you're similar?
Yep, second year A-level student.
Second year A-level student, mashallah. And both of you, I think you've got, mashallah, very well grades, good grades and achievement levels in your GCSEs, if I'm not mistaken. Alhamdulillah. So let's go on some of the issues that affect our young people and your generation. It's your say, and you can say what you want. However, there's those young people, Muhiba. I'm going to start off with you. Young people and opportunities. I mean, the UK government scheme for helping 16 to 18-year-olds into employment. Maybe they've not pursued their educational and career, or they've not done so well. What kind of things are out there? Do you know? And you may well have some friends who have done into these career schemes. What do you have to say for that?
I mean, there are a lot of alternative routes students can take. For example, there's courses that they can take, training courses. They can get in direct employment as well. There's apprenticeships they can do. Yeah.
Okay, Haris?
Yeah, so I mean, on Generation Y we did have an education episode. We also had another episode related to university, and we talked about the various scenarios that that students like us might face on results day. So that when they open that envelope and receive their A-level results, there's a number of things that could happen. So for instance, someone does better than they expected. They could get into contact with the universities and often be transferred onto a slightly better course, or maybe the masters, or whatever they want to be transferred on if they got better grades. Some people narrowly miss out on their grades when they receive their grades on results day. So when they narrowly miss out, they will have to get in touch with every university they can. Often people enter into clearing, but the key thing that we mentioned on that students need to keep in mind on results day is to stay connected to their UCAS track system, which keeps them up to date with the status of their offers. And also the second thing to keep in mind was that students need to be on the phone to universities. No matter which situation you're in, at some point you're going to have to be on the phone to universities, either debating for a better course or doing, depending on your situation.
Is it really, really daunting? Do you have sleepless the night? I mean, must have had been. Sorry, you're shaking your head, Muhiba. How was it waiting for your results?
Oh, it was really nerve-wracking. I mean, like, we didn't know anything could have happened. I mean, even though the exam might have went well for us, the grade boundaries change and like, yeah, it's really.
And both of you, I mean, you first maybe. How is it how do your parents and other support networks, is there the increased pressure, or is it decreased by your family and household?
Parents, they're really encouraging. I mean, they want us to do well. They make sure that we choose what we actually want to do and not what they want us to do. If we're happy with it, we go ahead with it. Yeah.
What would you say to any teenager watching you right now in terms of their career paths, and maybe they're having to resit their A-levels or redo them?
I'd say that they need to make sure that they know what they're doing and they want to do what they've chosen to do. They shouldn't make the mistake of doing something or selecting something that they won't be good at or they won't enjoy. Yeah.
And your challenges through this GCSE phase to your second year in your A-levels, what have you noticed from going from high school, sixth form to the college and studying? What are the issues there? It's a big, wide world out there, and from I won't say kidulthood to adulthood, but it is life-changing. What are your challenges? What are you facing right now?
Well, right now, as a second year A-level student, I'm on the verge of applying for universities. So the personal statement, I mean, it's a really big obstacle to get across. It's really, we need to make sure we're like precise, get to the point, and make sure the universities hear what we say and know what we want to do.
Okay. Harris?
Yeah, so on the point of personal statements, the key with personal statements is to make it one of your strengths that you're good at talking about yourself. You need to be able to talk about yourself, and you're selling yourself. That's what you're doing. You're selling yourself to the university because you want to apply for that course, you want to study that thing and inshallah be successful in the future. Now, personally, the advice that I would give to someone writing their personal statement is don't start from the beginning. When someone has that blank page open on a Word document or whatever, or their notepad, the first thing that pops into their mind, how do I start this? But what I found personally is the thing that helps is if you've got bullet points on the side, bullet points about things that you've done in the past, what you plan to do in the future, your strengths, why you want to study this course. Have them bullet points on the side, whatever they are, and pick one at random and start writing about it. Write about it in detail, obviously, and then pick another bullet point. Now from there, that will start building the structure of your personal statement.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I did personally. I started writing about one of the bullet points, and then that made out a good, it looked like a good second paragraph.
It sounds daunting, and it sounds like it's a mountain to climb, like Hans Muhiba's pouring it. But the question is, don't you get any support or guidance or from the college and your peers, etc., or is there nothing much out there for you when you're making these things?
I mean, schools, they really encourage you as well. I mean, they provide us with loads of support. Teachers, they make sure we get our final copy of our personal statement like on point, no mistakes. They correct everything for us, and they also make sure that we know what we're doing, keep us on track.
I'm going to touch upon some of the things that maybe not so commonly addressed in our society and community, be it from a religious aspect or be it from a cultural aspect. And some parents may well have that fear in terms of young teenage boys and girls going into colleges and you successfully applying to universities. There's loads of vices and habits and issues out there. Let me just draw your attention to a couple of these things. That the increase of mental health assessments in young people, and sometimes these are due to exams, GCSEs, A-levels, family, culture, etc., etc., etc. The other point being number of homeless young people on the increase, the number of young people addicted on drugs and alcohol misuse is on the increase. I mean, let's just say the vaping issue, the new trend of people not smoking, using normal cigarettes, but they're vaping nowadays. I'm going to ask you, Haris, to come on a couple of the points and leave something for Muhiba to speak about on another 2 points. So you first, in terms of those issues, those taboo subjects that often maybe not being discussed in the masjids, or when you've been to madrasa, or you don't really openly talk about it at home with your parents or peers, that drugs, alcohol, due to culture, due to religion, whatever the reason is, what do you see, what do you advise me and other adults out there and young teenagers?
Well, I guess sometimes the first thing that you need to do is actually address the problem. So you talked about the issue of vaping that you touched up at the end. That now, a lot of children will view that as not a big thing. Oh, it's only vaping. Well, it's just a little electronic device. It's not a cigarette. It's not this other drug or that other drug. But what people don't realize is the shaitan, he tempts us with tiny steps. So this vaping device, it will be the stepping stone to further drugs or further abuse and misuse of other substances or cigarettes or something. So we can't view anything as small. We need to acknowledge the problems, acknowledge that vaping is an issue. And it's not even just that, the cultural and social side of it. Vaping doesn't portray a good image of young people. If young people make themselves synonymous with terms such as vaping or drug abuse and stuff, it's not going to create a good image of the next generation or young people. So we need to, we can't do anything ourselves, but so we need to talk to the people as well about it and maybe address other people's problems and stuff.
Yeah, so like Haris said, we need to make sure that we're aware of this problem, make everyone aware of it, and then make parents aware of it as well. Make sure they talk to their child, they're not going down the pathway, and yeah.
Okay. I mean, what about young people in terms of homelessness and drugs use? Do you have that discussion at home or in school? And are you aware of people going homeless or using drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism?
Personally, no, I don't really.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're just going to go for a short break, and then we'll be back with maybe a couple of your colleagues more, and we'll talk about this issue a bit more, explore this in detail. So don't go anywhere. We'll be shortly with you after the break.